There's,
Look at this.
now here we have dead animals. This is a deer laying beside a little river, a little creek. The Ford River actually is beside.
And they were poisoned.
Oh yeah. But there's not one, there's hundreds. Hundreds.
It's really quite sad, isn't it? You wonder whether RSPCA should be called.
So can I just ask you a most ill-informed question? You're finding a plethora of dead animals here after immediately after the spray, the 1080. Right.
What sort of time frame?
2 or 3 days.
Days.
We went there 10 days after the poison was laid, and there was numerous amounts of dead bodies still lying in their water, and literally they're only, hundreds of metres down taking water out of the creek.
So they're actually rotting away there?
Oh yeah. Hundreds of them. One coop.
One particular area.
One coop.
Which is quite mind-boggling, ABC.
Hello.
I wonder what the brewery says to this thing.
So you pulled them out away from the water, did you, Nick?
Yeah, they were pulled out and thrown away, well away from the water.
So after a flood like we've had just recently, if the carrots were still there, they could be washed into the river with 1080 straight into our water.
They were that close, it's not funny. Honestly, as you can see, most of this area up here is hilly, so pretty much everywhere runs into a watercourse.
That's right.
Now, when I was doing it, they said, in the handbook we were given, they said 10 metres from a water source. Fine. About 20 metres from a road. Fine. The problem was, the game came from everywhere, and they picked up all that bait, and there was very little bait left. And it slaughtered them on that block by the hundreds. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It was just a sea of dead animals. You name it, they were dead. And, my God. And there was just dead animals everywhere. And I'll never forget, there was a nice little waterfall coming over into a bit of a waterhole. And that was just floating with dead wallaby. And this was 500 yards from my nearest bait line. I didn't even put any bait down there, at least 500 yards. And I went down in there because you could see. I just started picking one wallaby up and another one, and here's another dead possum over here. Oh, here's a couple of dead wombat here, and started picking them up. And then I got to where this little waterfall was, which was about as high as this room and as wide as this room. I can still take you there and show you. And it was just a sea of dead wallaby. Even my mate, who came along, even he said, my God. And he was flat out all day. He'd just follow me around, and I'd pick him up, put him on the motorbike, he'd take him, put him in the hole, come back again, pick him up. And as fast as he could come back, we were picking up dead game. And there was a creek, flowing creek, and it was just full of dead animals. Just all the way down the creek. They were even hooked up in the fence. There was a fence coming down through the middle of the block, and they were even tangled up in that. No, it was just appalling. So that's what I used to do. I can't think of one block where I didn't kill a wombat. Not one. The average, I always knew I was going to find dead wombats and dead ringtail possums. And you could see by the prints on the ground where tiger cats and particularly devils had been gnawing on the animal, like they'd been poisoned. It only makes sense because we'd go around, walk around laying bait down, and you could see some of the kangaroo and the wallaby, they'd be sitting there like this, looking at you. And you knew you were going to get them. It was only, it's like feeding carrots to kids or lollies to kids at a kindergarten. They're there, you're here, and you're putting bait on the ground, and they come out. And in a lot of cases, they'd be sitting because they get to hear the motorbike or see you coming. And I turned around, and I used to turn around and look back down the block, and you could see the wallaby out in the evening, sitting there eating the poison carrot, so you knew full well you were going to get them. Then there was the birds. Eagles. Now, I never found a dead eagle, but what used to worry me was this. Found a couple of dead hawks, But what used to worry me was this. Those beautiful wedge-tailed eagles. Now, I've got a lot of time for eagles. They're a smart animal. And they used to follow you around when you were laying just a carrot down. And then come the baiting. And what amazed me, what I found in a number of cases, on at least 4 blocks in particular, there was eagles on 4 blocks. The day after poisoning and the follow-up day after that and clearance, I never ever saw those eagles again. We used to find dead birds, but once again, don't worry about it, just bury them, move on to the next block. It's appalling. It's just appalling. And there's no way anybody can tell me it doesn't kill them, because it does. I've seen them. I've had to pick them up and bury them. And it's not right. It's not right. So what I'm telling you is the truth. And if you want to either believe me or not, I'm telling you, I've been there, seen there and done it. And it's got to be stopped, this 1018 business, as far as I'm concerned. It's just not right. It's not right. It's wrong.
It didn't quite sink in, the implications of what that meant. And it was really only until the following year when we woke up to the sound of a bulldozer clear-felling native rainforest only 60 feet away from our house. That's when the shock hit. A leading a figure in the company approached us almost immediately and said they would be aerial spraying 100 metres away from us. And I just couldn't believe that it would be lawful to spray that close, at say 30 or 50 feet height, to a residential house, because it was clear it was going to get into our tank. On the website we have an archive of files that relate to stories of contamination all over the entire state. How can we comprehend the mentality of people in government who have knowingly allowed this to happen?